Imagine planning the most important day of your life, only to have your so-called friend hijack it by announcing her own engagement in front of everyone. Now, imagine waiting a whole year to return the favor. But with a twist so brutal, everyone gasped. If you've ever wanted karma to arrive wearing heels and holding a mic, you're in the right place. Like, comment, and subscribe for more revenge stories that deliver the justice we all crave. Now, let me tell you how a bride got her ultimate payback, with blue flower petals and an ultrasound. Last summer, I attended one of the most emotional weddings I've ever been to. My cousin was marrying his childhood sweetheart, Emma. These two had been in each other's lives since diapers. The kind of love story people write songs about. So when the day came, both families were beyond thrilled. It felt like the whole town was buzzing. The ceremony was beautiful. Sunlight through the trees, live string quartet, Emma looked like a painting. But just as the reception got going, drinks clinking, laughter rising, the mood suddenly shifted. One of the bridesmaids, a woman named Sarah, stood up with her boyfriend and loudly announced, "We're engaged." The room froze. Glasses halfway to lips. Conversations cut mid-word. Everyone turned toward her. Sarah beamed like it was her wedding. Her boyfriend looked smug. Cameras shifted their focus. Family members clapped half-heartedly. And Emma, the actual bride? She smiled. But not a real smile. The kind that stretches too wide, too tight. Her eyes shimmered, but it wasn't joy. It was disbelief, hurt, disguised behind perfect bridal makeup. And yet, she said nothing. No confrontation. No whisper to her new husband. Just that quiet, controlled composure that made you think, something's brewing. See, Emma isn't the kind of woman who forgets. She's the kind who files things away. Fast forward a year. Emma had been chosen, by Sarah herself, to be the maid of honor at her wedding. Bold move, right? But Sarah didn't stop there. Leading up to her big day, she went full-on bridezilla. Demanding, condescending, even forcing bridesmaids to buy overpriced custom dresses that none of them liked. A few girls dropped out. But Emma stayed. Not because she forgave, but because she had a plan. On the day of Sarah's wedding, Emma brought her two much younger sisters, who had been assigned as flower girls. Their role? Simple, walk down the aisle and toss soft white petals. Except, Emma had secretly swapped out the petals. In each basket were now vibrant blue flower petals. And she told her sisters one thing: don't say anything. Just smile and scatter. The wedding began. Sarah appeared in her pristine white dress, perfectly matched to the white and gold color theme she had obsessed over. And then came the flower girls. Blue petals tumbled to the aisle like a glitch in the Matrix. Guests murmured. Heads tilted. Sarah, halfway down the aisle, froze for a split second, her eyes narrowing. But it was too late. The ceremony moved on, the confusion swept under a rug of "not my problem." Sarah tried to act composed, but that tight smile of hers? Yeah, we all recognized it. The same one Emma wore a year ago. Later, at the reception, Sarah snapped. Why were the petals blue? That wasn't in the plan. The wedding planner caught the heat. Bridesmaids played dumb. Emma? Stone-cold poker face. And then came the speeches. Everyone gathered around as a giant screen lit up, displaying a curated slideshow, compiled by Emma herself. Cute photos of Sarah as a kid, laughing with friends, goofy moments with her new husband. It was warm. Endearing. Then, Emma took the mic. Sarah, she said sweetly. You're probably wondering about those blue petals. A murmur ran through the crowd. Sarah looked wary. Emma clicked the remote. The screen changed. It was an ultrasound image. Crystal clear. With text that read, "It's a boy. Due in 4 months." Gasps. Cheers. Total chaos. Emma grinned. "I just found out a few days ago. We kept it a secret to surprise you all, with a little blue hint earlier." Sarah's face turned the color of her overpriced napkins. She stood there, mouth agape, trying to form words. But her thunder? It had officially been stolen. Again. But this time on her own turf. Apparently, the rest of the night devolved into a mess. Sarah tried to rally, but her own bridesmaids, most of whom had been Emma's at her wedding, weren't having it. Emma and my cousin were eventually asked to leave, but they walked out laughing. Emma patted her belly and smiled at Sarah's furious mother, who came storming after her. "Gentle, gentle," she said with a wink. "I'm pregnant." Chef's kiss. It wasn't just the pettiness that made this so satisfying. It was the precision. Emma didn't raise her voice. She didn't throw a tantrum. She didn't publicly shame Sarah on her wedding day like Sarah had done to her. She waited. She planned. She made a statement so poetic and subtle that the room turned on Sarah without Emma ever needing to say a harsh word. That's the difference between immature attention-seeking and artful revenge. And from what I hear, Sarah doesn't speak to most of those bridesmaids anymore. If there's one thing we can all learn from this story, it's simple: never steal the spotlight from someone on their big day. Because some people, they don't get mad. They get even. If this story made you grin, clap, or cheer inside your head, go ahead and like the video. Drop a comment below. What's the most savage, yet satisfying revenge you've ever seen at a wedding? And if you love stories where justice is served with flair and finesse, hit that subscribe button and join us for more tales that prove karma has a wicked sense of humor. Until next time, stay classy and don't mess with someone else's moment. He cheated on me. After 5 years of love, sacrifice, and paying his rent from across the country, I caught one message on his phone, and everything changed. But instead of screaming or crying, I smiled. Because I knew exactly how to destroy him where it would hurt the most, his RuneScape account. 14 years of progress. Gone. And I made sure he'd never recover. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted with your whole heart, hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you believe in poetic justice. Because today, we're diving into a story where heartbreak meets sweet, digital destruction. We met the way so many young gamers did, inside the world of RuneScape. He was 14. I was 17. What started as a friendship over loot and leveling soon turned into something real. We laughed, explored, fought bosses, and fought each other. By the time we said "I love you," it had already felt like years. Over the next 6 years, our lives stayed connected through pixels and video calls. Eventually, we started visiting each other. Long-distance love is hard, but when it works, it's magic. We talked about our future, moving in together, closing the distance, building a life that wasn't just virtual. I had a stable job, a plan, and enough faith in us to support him when he struggled to stay employed. Rent? I covered it. Food? I sent him money. I believed in him. And that belief kept me going until November. That month, I couldn't cover his rent. I had car repairs, bills, and my own life to pay for. When I told him, he freaked. Cried. Said he couldn't go back to his parents. Claimed abuse. But I knew his parents. They were kind. Supportive. Had stayed at my place more than once. Trying to help, I called his dad. His dad offered a lead, a warehouse job, $15 per hour, simple work. I thought it was perfect. He thought it was beneath him. Told me he didn't want to work at all. He said I should work harder. Maybe get a second job. I felt like someone had driven a dagger into my spine. I worked 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, as a meteorologist. I supported us both. And here he was, sitting in his room, playing RuneScape, insulting me. But I didn't leave him. Not yet. Instead, I tried to patch things up. We made up over texts. He got a part-time retail job. I resumed sending him money. By December, he'd moved back home, and we were planning a trip, his flight to see me. I covered most of it, of course. The visit started off great. We laughed. We dated. For the first time in years, he treated me to things. Paid for dinner with his new income. I started to believe we were healing. Then I saw it. His phone lit up on the nightstand while he showered. A Discord message from someone named Mandy. When are you gonna leave here? My blood turned to ice. I wanted to scream. To rage. But instead, I smiled. I waited for him to come out of the bathroom. Gave him a fake smile. We sat. Watched TV. I pretended everything was fine. He noticed I was quiet. I told him I was tired. That night, he tried to initiate something. I declined. Once he passed out, I grabbed his phone. Dug through their messages. Thousands upon thousands. He'd been cheating for months. Said I was emotionally abusive. Sent my private pictures to her so they could mock my body. It felt like a part of me died in that moment. But the part that lived was ready to fight. The next morning, I was affectionate. I drove him to the airport. Kissed him goodbye. He thought everything was fine. I drove home, shaking. Sobbing. Screaming. I kicked my bed frame so hard it cracked. I wanted to destroy him. Not physically. Not with yelling. But where it would hit deepest. RuneScape. We had a shared account, a baby we raised together. We built it over years. I logged in. Transferred my half of the wealth to my main. Then gave away his half. Every coin. Every item. Even the untradables, I converted to coins and handed them to random players. The bank? Wiped clean. Then I remembered, I still had the login info for his main account. The crown jewel. The account he'd poured 14 years into. I logged in. And I got to work. I sold every item he owned. Every sword. Every piece of armor. Every cape and rune and rare drop. Sold it all. Over 8.5 billion gold. What did I spend it on? Burnt food. Specifically, 6,083 burnt spiders. Worthless. Unusable. Just garbage. Then I dropped them all into his bank. Still had billions left. I bought 100 bonds, enough RuneScape membership to last me 4 years. Then I geared up my main account with top-tier armor, weapons, and training materials. Then, I leveled up his defense. That might sound helpful, right? Not to a pure account. He had kept his defense at level 1 for years to stay competitive. I took it to level 6. His entire account build? Ruined. Still not done. I went to his in-game house. Disassembled everything. No refunds. No insurance. His multi-billion gold mansion? Gone. Then I changed his username. Something unforgettable. A 12-character embarrassment. To his friends, I logged in and confessed to cheating. Then removed them all. One by one. He messaged me later that night. Photos of him crying, begging, screaming. I didn't respond with kindness. I warned him sharing my photos was illegal. I'd take him to court. File a cease and desist. And I meant it. He never responded again. Some people think destroying an online account is petty. But this wasn't just a game. This was his life. His identity. His world. And he used me, financially, emotionally, physically, then threw me away like I was nothing. So I made sure he'd lose the only thing he truly valued. Every coin. Every pixel. Every shred of pride. Gone. Revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's precision, planning, and patience. I didn't scream. I didn't cry in front of him. I let him think everything was fine until it wasn't. And when it hit hard. What's the pettiest, most satisfying revenge you've ever heard of? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed this story of betrayal and payback, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who knows how much RuneScape means to a certain type of guy. Until next time, stay smart, stay strong, and remember, cheaters never win, especially in RuneScape.
She cheated, lied, then accused me of rape to save face. Her friends believed her. Her family called me a monster. My world almost crumbled. But I didn't fight back right away. I waited. I gathered proof. And when the time was right, I mailed the truth to everyone she knew, one by one, and watched her perfect life implode. If you've ever been betrayed, falsely accused, or left wondering why good people suffer in silence, hit subscribe. Like this video if you believe in justice, no matter how long it takes. Because what you're about to hear isn't just revenge. It's earned. And it's devastating. It all started in 2016. I finally asked out my longtime crush, Kate, after 3 years of circling around each other. To my surprise, she said yes. Our connection was electric. For 7 months, it felt like a dream. We were open, adventurous, supportive. Our families adored us. We spoiled each other. And when I joined the Armed Forces Reserves as a combat engineer, she was right there cheering me on. Kate helped keep me sane during basic training. When I thought I couldn't make it, her words reminded me why I had to push through. She was there the day I graduated, proud and smiling. When I had to leave for 3 months of brutal summer training, she supported me going 400 kilometers away to chase my future. But something in me changed during that summer. I was the outcast, the punchline. I came home a shell of myself, more anxious, less outgoing. Kate noticed. She said I wasn't the same, that I had become cold, withdrawn, boring. We broke up after a fight over something small. But just 3 days later, she texted, said she missed me, wanted to fix things. For weeks, we stayed in touch, tried again, but something was broken. I felt like I was walking on eggshells around her. My anxiety only made it worse. Then came John. She met him at school. He became her new support system. A friend, she said. But I noticed the way she talked about him, the way she pulled away from me. One night, I came over to her place. John was there, chilling on the couch. She said it was a surprise visit, and that he was leaving. After he left, she was distant, cold. I knew something was off. That night, she said we should break up, that I could stay just for one last night. I agreed, but something was gnawing at me. She was glued to her phone, protective of it, hiding the screen. That wasn't her. So after she fell asleep, I checked. Her passcode hadn't changed. What I found shattered me. Hundreds of messages between her and John, laughing about me, planning their future together, mocking everything I did. I sobbed. She woke up, caught me, screamed, accused me of invading her privacy. I didn't fight back. I just left, walked out into the night and collapsed when I got home. Called in sick. Didn't leave bed for a day. But it wasn't over. The next day I started getting texts. Angry, hateful, from her friends, her family, even co-workers. They called me a predator, a monster, a rapist. She told them I had forced myself on her the night we broke up. Said I took what I wanted and left. Claimed it was too painful to go to court. That she didn't want to be a victim in public. I was paralyzed. In the military, that kind of allegation can end you, even without proof. I waited every day for a call, an investigation, anything, but nothing ever came. Then, 5 months later, she messaged me, said she wanted to make peace, admitted she lied, said she only did it to protect her reputation, that she knew what it did to me, but she couldn't take it back now. She even apologized, but wouldn't do it publicly. I played it cool, took screenshots, kept talking. Over the next 3 months, a pattern formed. She'd complain about John, cry about how he treated her, say she missed me, then ghost me when John did something sweet, then blast me on social media. I said nothing, but I was saving everything. Texts, screenshots, voice memos, full-on compilations. After the 3rd cycle, I was done. I printed the worst messages, dozens of them, packaged them neatly into manila envelopes, and sent them to her parents, her grandparents, her cousins, her best friends, her job, her boss, her teachers, anyone who'd shamed me. 3 weeks later, the apologies came. Her parents were horrified. They wrote me a heartfelt letter, said they had no idea, that they raised her better, that they were so sorry, that they hoped I wouldn't sue. Kate exploded. She messaged me, "How could you do this? You ruined my life. You bastard." I didn't reply, just read, smiled, blocked her. I never found out just how bad the fallout was, but I know she dropped out of school, lost her job, lost friends. Her reputation? Gone. I don't celebrate ruining someone's life, but I do believe in balance. And when someone tries to destroy yours with a lie like that, sometimes the truth is your sharpest weapon. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, precise. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to beg people to believe me. I just let her words bury her. Because lies are heavy, and eventually they crush the one who told them. If this story moved you, if you've ever been the victim of a lie, of betrayal, of injustice, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where the truth finds its way to the surface. And tell me in the comments, what's the harshest lesson karma ever taught someone in your life? Because sometimes silence is justice, until it isn't. He sat across from me at Thanksgiving dinner, texting my wife under the table. I didn't know it then, but the man I called my best friend, my neighbor, my kid's second father, was sleeping with her. When I found out, I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I smiled, because I knew exactly how to destroy them both without ever raising my voice. And it worked. If you've ever felt betrayed by the people you trusted most, hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you believe revenge should be smart, not loud. Because this is the story of how I turned heartbreak into devastation and left 2 cheaters buried in their own mess. For 5 years, my wife and I lived across the street from our closest friends, Sarah and, well, let's just call him Shithead. The 4 of us were inseparable. Cookouts, vacations, holidays, even weekday dinners with our kids playing in the yard. We were one giant, happy family unit. Or so I thought. Shithead wasn't just my neighbor. He was like a brother. We coached our kids' soccer team together. We helped each other with home projects. And when he decided to run for the local school board, I was his campaign manager, speechwriter, and biggest cheerleader. Meanwhile, our wives were just as close. They shared wine nights, ran PTA meetings together, even went to yoga on Saturday mornings. We trusted each other with our kids, our secrets, our lives. Then, 5 months ago, everything unraveled. One careless mistake opened the floodgates. My wife left her email open on our shared computer. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a dinner reservation confirmation. Instead, I saw an email thread with her therapist, confirming that shithead would be joining her again for their next session. I froze. Why was my neighbor going to my wife's therapy sessions? I started digging, and what I found destroyed me. Over 6 weeks of email exchanges showed they'd been attending sessions together. Secretly, our mobile phone records showed hundreds of texts per day, peaking at nearly 500 per day by Christmas. Even while sitting together at our dinner table, they were texting back and forth. I felt sick. My hands shook. But nothing prepared me for the moment I confronted her. She didn't deny it. She said they were in love. It just happened. She didn't know how, but she didn't love me anymore. They had already made plans to leave Sarah and me. The therapy sessions? Just a soft landing to break our hearts gently. Only, Sarah and I were convinced they had no intention of telling us the truth. They were going to string us along, lie to our faces, and wait until the narrative suited them. 2 months later, she moved out. I was a hollow version of myself. I cried every day, but grief has a funny way of turning into clarity, and clarity can be powerful. I remembered Shithead's precious board of education seat. He wasn't just a member, he was obsessed. He joined every committee, attended every school event, used the position like it was his identity. My wife, meanwhile, had just finished her master's degree. She was weeks away from being promoted to an administrative position within the same school district. A job she was groomed for, endorsed for, and all but guaranteed to land. Now here's the thing. An extramarital affair between a school board member and a school employee? That doesn't exactly scream ethical, and certainly not appropriate. So I started gathering everything. Every text, every call log, every email, every therapy appointment, proof of hundreds of messages, late-night calls, and admissions of love. I had it all, but I didn't just send it off in a rage. I knew that if I, the heartbroken husband, came forward, people might dismiss it as bitter slander. So I got creative. I invented a fictional character, a furious friend of Sarah's who was planning to show up at the next public board meeting and expose the affair. I told my wife about this friend, told her I tried to calm them down but couldn't promise anything. Cue panic mode. Within days, Shithead admitted the affair to the school board, preemptively stepping down for the good of the community. I heard from Sarah that he barely got out of bed for days, but I wasn't done. As whispers of his resignation spread, the district superintendent, a longtime ally of both my wife and Shithead, called my wife in for a tearful meeting. She told her it was no longer politically feasible to promote her, even though she was the top candidate. The position was quietly filled by someone else. The rumors spread like wildfire. Everyone expected her to get the job. When we went out for breakfast on our son's birthday, a parent stopped by the table to congratulate her. She forced a smile, excused herself, and cried in the bathroom. Then, just before she moved out of our house for good, I told her, there was no furious friend. There was no whistleblower. It was just me. She didn't say anything. Her eyes just dropped to the floor, and that was that. Since then, the ripple effects have been satisfying. Shithead, once the social glue of our neighborhood, now hides inside. The man who used to throw barbecues, wave from his driveway, and pop over for beers? Gone. He barely mows his lawn. He's moving to a crummy little townhouse soon. Between losing his public role and the child support he's about to pay Sarah, his world is crumbling. My wife still works in the district, but I hear things. Her once sterling reputation? Tarnished. Gossip runs rampant. Her guaranteed promotion is a distant memory. And the kicker? Even if she finds another job in a new district, she'll be leaving behind 20 years of relationships. They say they're going to try to make it work, that they're in love. Maybe they are. But when they walk through town hand in hand, everyone knows the truth. The betrayal, the lies, the humiliation. And me? I'm still hurting. I still cry sometimes. But I sleep well knowing I didn't scream, break things, or beg. I just played the long game. And I won. Some betrayals are so deep, words can't reach them. But consequences cut clean. I didn't just expose the affair. I dismantled the little empire they built behind my back. I pulled the thread and watched it all unravel. His board seat, her promotion, their reputations, gone. I didn't do it to be petty. I did it because people like them count on silence, on forgiveness, on their victims being too shocked or too polite to act. Not this time. Sometimes the best revenge isn't rage. It's restraint. It's letting the truth do the damage. And when justice hits quietly, it hits twice as hard. Have you ever seen cheaters get exactly what they deserved? Drop your story in the comments. If you enjoyed this tale of cold, calculated justice, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share it with someone who needs a little poetic vengeance in their life. Until next time, remember, karma's a patient friend, and it never forgets.